ask for advice, you get money.
Wow.
It all starts from me going to the gym, actually. It's always good to start something for yourself. When multiple people believe in you, it might be time to believe them.
What are the challenges of moving to different cities?
Sometimes life makes decisions for us. I think everybody has been through that. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So ever since this year, I pivoted my channel to talk more about career and personal development. So I'm very excited to start this new series about the contrast between traditional paths when working in a corporate job and things like that compared to the pathless path, which is the path that I'm currently on. I plan to invite some of my friends and guests that I admire and of their path and transition. But today will be the first ever episode because one of my friend, Michelle.
Hi, Lydia's followers.
She invited me on her podcast called Closer.
Welcome to Closer with Lydia Chen. Lydia is an ex-climate tech banker with a wealth of experiences in Hong Kong, London, and New York. After almost a decade of banking, Lydia has decided to move into the vibrant ecosystem of startups. She's now an entrepreneur with a competitive Answer UK 11. Lydia, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks for the coffee. It really boosts me up because it's like a 3 p.m. session that we're having today, is it?
Yeah, it's almost 5.
We're also just discussing about your move from, the different like Hong Kong, London, New York. Those are like very different places. What are the challenges of moving to different cities? What's the best part of it?
I think everybody, you as well, have been through that path, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like sometimes life makes decisions for us. I remember when I landed in the JFK airport. So I was in the most typical international student outfit of all time.
So like the designers.
Just people can see that she has no clue. I almost sported like a black cap, not a good one,
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, where are you going?" I was like, "I'm going to this." This is like, "Okay, $50." And then I was almost there, but I was like, no, I have somebody who's picked me up. I need to go back. Or some people, they will ask me, "Oh, you've been in banking for 10 years. How come you all of a sudden want to learn or a startup?" But I think the process of building something, like basically building your life up from no support network to somewhere you can confidently walk around and people will come up to you and as if you are a local. It's the same as you build a company or start something, like where you do it for this podcast. At the beginning, you don't know what to do. It's something that you gain only by living it and only by doing it. You need to understand how to get information without being able to draw a reference from somebody from your family or close circle. You need to be able to face the failure and a lot of rejections just because you don't know what to do. And you also need to be able to be bold enough to ask for things that you didn't think that you would get answer from. So I think those are all of those parallel comparisons you can make by moving from somewhere to another place. Like the most recent episode, when I moved to London, I didn't think that it would be that hard, because I was like, look, I lived in Hong Kong for 6 years. How hard can it be to move to London? Even the interior design of the bus is the same.
We're paying attention to the
it's like it's a double-decker bus, the same as Hong Kong. And then the first day I landed, not gonna lie, I don't know whether it's because of the pandemic, I haven't been traveling for so long. I just felt like I was placed in a sim, this is the video game. And then I was like a figure that's almost couldn't fit in because everything is so big here. It's almost as if they put Hong Kong and 2 times it. And the first day I felt everything is so weird. And then the second day, after I configured everything, it's way more normal. But I think those experiences that actually boost your confidence and the way that you can tell yourself, like, these are the experiences that I experienced myself. Like, nobody actually helped me to get there. And I should be fine. Like, whatever that life have in store for me.
That's really good. You also mentioned earlier that you moved from banking into the more pathless path, you said. Maybe you could speak from experience here. What did you consider when you're making that move, that shift Is there anything that you would recommend other people to think about as well before jumping ship?
Yeah, I would say a lot of people, they put a rosy picture about the move, like escape 9 to 5, things like that. Sometimes life doesn't really give you a chance to make that. But then I think the only thing that doesn't change in life is change itself. So wow, whatever, it's not from me. Somebody said it. But I think whatever. So I lost my job 2 years ago in Hong Kong. That was really, really tough for me because it was the first time I don't know what to do, and I wasn't as confident as I am now either. So I was at the time trying to navigate how can I pick myself up. That was when I realized when you have the chance to learn in the traditional industry or you have a job to do, try to learn as much as possible, as fast as possible, because you don't know when the music will stop. If I'm going to tell myself when I first started my career, I would say to myself, like, don't resist the work that much, just because I think there's a way you should gamify the system. Like, you navigate every day as if I'm finishing a task for my future self, not because I'm finishing a task for my manager, but because at the end of the day, when I was really, really young, basically I know nothing, right? They're basically paying me to learn, but then that period of time could be really, really short before people run out of patience. Because it's not a school at the same time, and it's really, really competitive. I think that would be the advice that I give it to myself. I think I digress. Don't remember what you asked.
What people should consider when they want to move. We're not really following a one sort of lane.
Yeah.
Which you...
I think there's no like a black and white face you can put to yourself. It's not like today I'm in the traditional path and tomorrow I decide I'm gonna cut everything. Somebody told me about this. He said sometimes life made decisions for you that unintentionally push you to a better direction for yourself. And that's sort of how it happened for me. Some people, they may make their own decision to jump ship. Is you need to understand who you are as a person. Like you said that I'm an ex-climate tech banker. I'm a climate tech person. It doesn't matter where I am. Like now, I'm not working for a bank, but I'm still connecting through my other efforts with the people who are working in the climate tech sector. That's my identity, and nobody can take away from me. So everybody should really think it through what drives you and what is your passion about life. And because once you have that, you have something that bigger than the task at hand, then you will have the reason to work on it no matter whether you're getting paid or not. And usually when you're passionate doing something, even if you're not getting paid, and if that area is by chance, I'm really lucky I'm in the climate sector, it's basically the future, then I am hopeful and also optimistic that although at the beginning it might be tough, but the future will be bright.
Your job may shift, but who you are as a person will stay. You have this bite-sized podcast, which I would really recommend people to also subscribe on, because like what you said, it's so straight to the point. I personally watch some of your podcasts as well. It's so good. Yeah. And you're also doing all of these other amazing work alongside your, like the climate tech, also your startups, etc. So I'm sure you've met a lot of people from different backgrounds and, like, as you've mentioned, very smart people. Okay. So maybe if you're so generous to share with us one of the best advice that you've received.
I think advice works in different seasons depending on where you are. But I reflect in the past several months when I need advice the most. There's one sentence that came back to me again and again. It's not straight to me, but I went to a startup event, and there's this guy who has been working in investment for a long, long time. His advice to startup founders, not to me, is ask for advice, you get money. Ask for money, you get advice.
Wow. I actually have no comment. I'm shocked.
But when I listened to that, right, because I was only a participant in that, it's like a startup pitch event in OBS. And as I went through my own journey, then this sentence keep coming back to me. I feel like it's the same as why people want to help people who have a good energy, because like if I ask for senior people to give me advice, they will give me advice, right? But then if they see that I'm an investable human being, then money is not an issue. But if I ask people for money, then they will be like, yeah, you're a good kid. This is advice. Like, think about it.
That is true, actually.
Think about it. It works. You want people to emotionally invest in you. I think emotion is the key thing, no matter what you do. If you can capture people's emotion, the same for content creation, same for writing, same for any type of conversation. If you can capture people's emotion and they were sort of in this thing with you, then they also want you to succeed.
That is so good.
Yeah.
Wow. And now just a little bit of a rogue question. I asked this to one of the people that I was interviewing with the other day, and I sort of received very interesting answers. I want to do the same to you.
Yeah.
What was one thing you used to put on a pedestal that you no longer do?
That's a very interesting question. I can come up with a lot, but I think it all boils down to titles. So I think in the past, I always admire for people who has a great role as a CEO or like an MD in a bank, or they're like number one, or they went to a Ivy League school. Nowadays, I don't look at the service that much because I think people, one, title means something, but doesn't mean that people should be entitled of their titles. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't say anything. Also, your past, your track record only can prove where you are to this point. It's what you do today and tomorrow and going back again and again to repeat the consistency and resilience of what do you want to achieve that can prove who you are for the future.
Wow. Sorry, there's so many wows lately.
Is it that good?
That is good. That is really good. And I think last time we spoke, we also talked about dealing with curveballs in life. And I think what I noticed from you, and you're probably tired of hearing this, but again and again, I keep on telling you have such an indomitable spirit where you just don't give up. And I love that about you. You shared with me some of your stories, which inspire me. I came home a different person, genuinely.
Right.
Yeah.
What did I do? Tell me. What did you do?
I'm opening a working start writing But really, it really inspired me. And if you're willing to sort of share a little bit about your experience, that would be, I hope some of my podcast viewers could also be moved the way I was.
I think it all comes. I don't think I'm intentionally want to be an energetic person, but it has a lot to do with how you manage your day. It all starts from me going to the gym, actually. I was listening to this podcast just now, Adam Grant. So he is a professor, I think, in Wharton. So he wrote several very good books, Think Again, Original, and all of those stuff. So he's interviewing a Peloton instructor, like the top Peloton instructor.
Yeah.
And what she said is, once you start moving, let me see. What's the quote? It's really good.
It is that good that you have to be quoted by the source.
So have an opportunity when they are consistently moving and working out to become their favorite self. I really like that. It's not about the best self. It's the self that I come to like myself. Because I never have high energy, like never. I was always the one who's very pessimistic about things. And when I was younger, one of the things I put on pedestal is also all of those smart and beautiful girls around me. I was never one of them, at least in my understanding of myself. Because guys always ask me to get to those other girls.
Oh no!
Yeah, but then the things do change, right? And that's what I think life is, even though it's cliche, it's like a marathon, not a sprint. I went through a breakup, and then this gym came to me after 6 months. After a few months, they see my change in the gym. I remember my personal trainer's boss went to him, and he's like, "Who's that girl who becomes so like she's pretty? Like where did she come from? You know?" And then my personal trainer was like, "No, she's here all year long." So I become one of the person they want to put like a video to promote their personal trainer business, basically. But they only select one every year. And
wow.
And I lost 4 kilograms in 2 months, basically. But then I didn't do it. I was 58 and then it's 54. The weight doesn't matter that much. It's about your body fat as well. So my body fat dropped to like 18%. I remember I wrote down in the resolution list at the beginning of that year, like I want my body fat to drop like 20%. I laughed at myself. I was like, this is never going to happen. Because before that breakup, body fat was like around 29. And then all of a sudden in November, I remember that day when I did this body fat test, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is insane. And from that point on, my life starts to change because it doesn't matter like banking or going to a great school. Those are the things I believe I can achieve. But becoming healthy, become somebody whose identity is like a healthy gym person was never in my dictionary. Okay. And that was the part that I think that set as a foundation for me to have the energy and the confidence and the ritual type of habit for me to face anything in life. To the point that last time when I lost my job, when I was in Hong Kong, like one of my good friends, she's also a friend at work, and she's like, yeah, you were kind of horrible when you were going through the breakup. But this time, I feel like it's very different. I think you'll be fine.
Get yourself honest friends.
Yeah. Yes.
If we were to come back, but I think you touched on it anyway, it's like dealing with curveballs in life, right? How do you deal with it? Maybe if you could share.
Yeah, there's no single question. The thing I want to say the most is, no matter what curveball that life gives it to you, you need to do the thing that's the best for yourself. So the first thing that you need to get it right is to stay healthy. It's very seldom that you feel worse after you a workout session. And usually that's when you disconnect. You're doing something for yourself. The next day you feel better. The next time you can lift heavier. And I think that really gives you a lot of confidence towards whatever that you want to achieve. That would be my number one advice. And then the second thing is, curveball happens to every single successful person, I think. According to the memoirs that I've read, from Obama to Trevor Noah, a lot of people, they didn't start being successful. They're successful when we see them. But before that, they've encountered a lot of hurdles and obstacles. It's about how to deal with it that make them who they are. So that I keep thinking to myself is, it's always good to start something for yourself. Like the way that you're doing the podcast, the way that I was doing the podcast on my YouTube channel. True, at the beginning, nobody paid attention. But at one point, they would be like, oh, you're doing something for yourself that you're passionate about consistently. That creates the energy and the aura around you that will convince other people to want to be around you as well.
From this podcast, the last thing that I would like, I did not expect that your tip would be physical movement. And I think now that I really reflect on it, that is so true. Whenever I work a little bit like too much to the point that I'm not really moving a lot, I'm just on my desk and etc., I definitely feel like my clarity, everything is not as sharp as, and now that you mention it, I really feel like, yeah, I think I always put that as second place. Like physical movement is just something that maybe I just do it so that, oh, I'm getting ready for summer. But then really, it's not just the aesthetics. And then now I just really want to talk about your interest in personal development. Were you always passionate about personal development as a kid? Or was there a turning point in your life that really made you decide this is when I'm going to change now?
I was never passionate about personal development. It's because I need that. It's not because I'm passionate. I need those advice. I don't understand why people don't like reading books. Books, think about it. The same as you prepare for a podcast, right? You need to first talk to people, setting up the device and understand people. But it's way more than that. If you're writing a book, you need to do fact checks. You need to talk to experts, especially when it's a good book. I need those advice. I don't have family members in my life that can give me that kind of advice. They can, sort of, and a lot of wisdom are actually the same from the beginning of the days till now. but I just need that to be repeatedly, to become my inner monologue. So then whenever I felt I have moments, like millions of times to self-doubt myself, I would be like, this is never gonna work. I don't know why people believe in me, right? And then the words of Adam Grant, actually, I wrote it down today because I'm now starting a challenge called, I want to write 1,000 words every day. I'm miles behind, but
why did you decide to do this challenge?
Oh, because the podcast started as a challenge of 60 days. For the beginning of this year, I wanted to write 1,000 words every day, and then I think I want to have a book published or something.
Okay.
Yeah, and so if you write 1,000 words every day for 60 days, it's 60,000 words. That's almost like a book. Yeah.
Wow. So you set these challenges for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why 60 days. It's sort of like a magic number. I feel like because 30 days is too short. You almost couldn't see the change. But 60 days, you have built up the momentum, and it's enough for you to go forward. But then
I'm excited.
So Adam Grant said, whenever I question myself, right? And Adam Grant said, when multiple people believe in you, it might be time to believe them. But nobody will actually tell me that in my close circle. Nobody. Like, we are all just like clueless in our life. Come on. And I think reading books, that really gives me that access to all of those wisdoms, the wealth of knowledge. You can basically like talking to Oprah by reading her book. The more you read about them through their work, the more you'll be able to apply the knowledge and practical tips through your life. If you ask me whether it's a pivotal point in my life that I start to read all of those, it was because the pandemic. I got nothing else to do. And then I was like, yeah, not I was still working, but you're not seeing people every day. You're questioning life. And I was reading this book called Thinking Fast and Slow. It's the driest book ever. If it's not what it's very dry. It's very good, but very dry. If you have a lot of other stuff in your life, you would easily give up that book for sure. But because at the time I've got nothing else, so every day I was just like, okay, let me read this book. And once I get through that, I finish that book and then finish another book. And reading now become my favorite activities to do.
Because I think the same thing could happen to other people, right?
Yeah.
But some people emerge from it better than others. Yeah. I would say better in a more subjective way, as in like some people
for their own studies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of studies around that for sure. I don't have enough knowledge to comment on it. I'm lucky though, I think. I can always turn the not so optimistic scenario to a better one. I think it's mainly because of the survival instincts. And I keep going back to this phrase. My late grandpa, when I was 15, so the schools decided that everybody who's in my class, so in China you have this people who are like key classes, like one of the best. They want to keep us into the high school, so then they will have better rates to go into better universities.
Yes.
But my middle school is okay, but it's not the best. So I can go to the best of the best in that province.
Okay.
But what my middle school is trying to do is they force us to sign a contract. And if we don't sign it, so we sign the contract and you don't even need to go through the exams. You can just study whatever curriculum that they did to you for high school. But the trade-off is you couldn't go for those best schools. My late grandpa, at the time, I think he supported me the most because I think he's more confident in my capability than other family members. Because some other people was like, oh, what if this happened? What if that happened? Lightning round. Let's do a lightning round.
Okay. I'm nervous now.
What is the one thing that you will want to tell yourself when you turn 30?
That is hard. When I turn 30. So to my future self,
yes.
This is something that I'm trying to do lately, and I'm not sure if you could see, but my picture here is from my past self.
Yeah.
So if I were to say anything to my 30-year-old self, it will be to keep pursuing what you actually believe in. I think for me, I'm on my 20s now, and the reason why I have that picture of my past self is because I think as you grow older, you tend to be exposed with more stories, and then you get stronger, but you become more realistic in a sense that you're starting to filter your own ideas and dreams. You're like, okay, this is possible and this is not. And I think sometimes I just want to remind myself, my current self and my future self, that you once dreamed of it and you should go for it regardless of what you see around you, because everyone's stories are different.
Yeah, because this would be my first series of videos about traditional jobs versus pathless path.
I would say so relating to traditional jobs and towards the pathless path, I would say oh my gosh! Woo!